are within our own power and ready with 23 clear recommendations for our partners whose jurisdiction is outside of our municipal control. Audacious? Probably. Justified? Absolutely. I received this letter, which I characterize as a welcome invitation with enthusiasm for 3 reasons. Since our trip to Miami-Dade in 2022, we have been working in earnest, consistent collaboration with our partners across public safety, criminal justice, and homeless services to identify gaps, needs, and initiatives to improve. Second, this is the first time I am aware of that the state's leaders send a written invitation to produce a proposal for collaboration on the state's toughest issue in advance of the legislative session and with the explicit opportunity to potentially partner instead of further siloing through legislation. Third, and most of all, because I'm fed up. Our system is fed up, our city is fed up, and our police officers are fed up. The system does not work for the highest need and highest impact individuals experiencing homelessness. And more must be done to control the cartels and the fentanyl crisis that's on our streets. Despite our city's efforts to lead the state in affordable housing, homeless resources, additional police officers, temporary shelter, overflow shelter, micro shelters, and tiny homes, it is evident every single day that on-street camping is still a real challenge. The shelter system that exists today is not sufficient to address the state's ongoing year-round demand. Let me be clear, being unsheltered is not a crime, but public safety matters and homelessness do intersect, which often comes as a result of mental health challenges, drug addiction, human trafficking, and any other number of issues that are often experienced in our unsheltered communities. It is a scenario that no city can long endure without catastrophic impacts to all. This plan is built upon new interventions and some current foundational work by state and county partners that have not yet been fully executed. Though we collaborated with many partners to create this plan, it's me standing here today to leave no doubt that Salt Lake City will take responsibility, take charge, by releasing a public safety plan which, if fully executed and across all responsible parties, will have a dramatic positive impact on Salt Lake City and the systems we rely on for public safety and homelessness services. But Salt Lake City cannot act alone for this plan to be effective. Each level of government, each individual function must hold one another accountable, or the system will remain fragmented and inefficient. Without complete partnership to execute this plan, people will still be living on our streets with their root causes unaddressed, and businesses and residents will still be dealing with those impacts. My top priority since day one is to create and maintain a safe city where individuals and families can live and thrive and work. Salt Lake City must do better, and we will. This plan marks a new approach and outlines 27 specific actions where the city has control to improve public safety and homelessness issues in our public spaces. From the research and more than 200 interviews and surveys we conducted to develop this plan, we know one fact is certain. At the center of all the system's complex challenges is a consistent lack of space. There is a desperate need for more housing, more shelter, more treatment, and more jail space than we currently have. I'm not mincing words. We must intentionally and immediately create space. There is a shortage of 1,100 to 1,600 year-round emergency shelter beds. As part of this public safety plan, I'm announcing that Salt Lake City will expedite the creation of more shelter beds by offering up a city-owned property to be used for a temporary campus facility for a period of up to 24 months if operating costs can be allocated by state and philanthropic partners. This interim facility can bridge the gap while the state constructs its permanent low-barrier campus. To further address the shortage of deeply affordable and permanent supportive housing, Salt Lake City will take immediate action to assist the Other Side Village in expediting development of their next phase to add more than 200 deeply affordable tiny homes as soon as possible. The city will also continue its investment by dedicating at least $5 million for deeply affordable housing projects in fiscal year 2026. This plan details gaps and opportunities for positive change that improve outcomes for individuals in need and the whole community. An improved system of supportive services must connect with a system of accountability and include an increased public safety focus. Our approach to public safety begins with the indispensable role of Salt Lake City Police Department. It is true that our officers and the behavioral health and licensed clinical social workers on their team reduced crime by 5% in Salt Lake City in 2024 compared to 2023, bringing the city to a 16-year low in overall crime. It is also true that the presence of unsheltered individuals, some of whom face severe mental illness, can make people feel unsafe, and the impacts of unsheltered homelessness can hurt our communities. Both of these things can be true at the same time. Crime can statistically be down across the city, and yet what people see on our streets can make them feel unsafe. And it is our responsibility to address both. We cannot police our way out of homelessness, must do better. Over the weekend, I joined a graveyard shift right along with our police department. I saw firsthand how difficult it is for our officers to juggle the time-intensive, complex demands of the unsheltered, along with drug use and other criminal activity in our public spaces, while also needing to respond to calls that threaten immediate public safety, like active DUIs. To our officers, I want to say thank you for your continued hard work, and at the same time, let you know that a lot is going to be expected of you. I am personally meeting with some of our officers today and tomorrow at the beginning of their shifts to talk about the components of this plan, and I want to be crystal clear with them and with you. The Salt Lake City Police Department will enforce public order offenses. We will cite or arrest individuals who are committing crimes, and they will face consequences to the fullest extent of the law, including jail. I want to call out key public safety actions that we'll be taking immediately, as well as mid and long-term action to assure that people feel safe. First, we will improve public safety by intensifying our police presence downtown and in higher crime areas. To do this, we are launching a community impact division. Primarily, this means that we will redirect bike squads and patrol squads to targeted hotspot areas. While this team can be deployed across the city, they will be highly visible in our downtown, Jordan River Trail, and Ballpark neighborhoods, doing foot and bike patrols that canvass these areas. Second, we'll deploy the violent crime apprehension team to crack down on drugs, specifically fentanyl, and firearm offenses. VCAT will concentrate on areas like the Jordan River, Ballpark neighborhood, and downtown. Third, we will increase the consequences for repeat offenders through more coordination and increased prosecution. As part of this, partners must address jail overcrowding and frequent pretrial release. We will implement new requirements for our officers to improve communication with the criminal justice system on repeat offenders so judges and prosecutors can better assess the potential risk an individual might pose to the community. This will more effectively steer people into services or keep them in jail longer. Fifth, we are developing an integrated security camera program at select city parks to deter crime. We will also add security services at these parks at closing hours to assist in making sure people are complying with our park curfews that exist today. To be more responsive to residents and businesses impacted by crime and homelessness, we will take more immediate, midterm, and long-term actions, including the city establishing a downtown safety and activation partnership over the next few months to gather input from businesses and residents, share the metrics that we're tracking, and refine our new strategies based on community input. We will expand the rapid intervention team to respond more quickly to reports of trash, bio-waste, abandoned buildings, and other livability issues. The city will release a request for proposals to find a provider to increase hygiene options for the unsheltered. And over the next year, the city will work to increase safe storage for unsheltered people's possessions. This will make them less vulnerable to theft and remove a barrier of going into shelter. I'll say this again, the city can do better, and we will. These actions we've identified will be carried out, and they will be tracked transparently. With the most collaborative of intention, we have also included the 23 recommendations for parts of the system that Salt Lake City does not control but must create a seamless connection with. State funding and participation are critical to bridge current gaps. The plan recommends action from the Utah Legislature to fund solutions, revise code, and consider other policy changes that we've articulated. We are ready to work closely with legislators in this upcoming session to bring these necessary recommendations to fruition. The public safety plan I'm sharing with you today, which we have now transmitted to state leaders, is not an a la carte menu. We need improved public safety in Salt Lake City and a system-wide overhaul if Utah is to remedy this humanitarian crisis on our streets. I take responsibility for Salt Lake City's part in this, and I expect our partners to take full responsibility for their parts as well. If we take these bold, clear, and necessary actions across systems in concert and not at odds with one another, we will be able to achieve the outcomes we desperately need and expect. But if it is not adopted in whole, we will continue to face the struggles we all see on our streets today. The city will be unrelenting in combating crime and holding those who commit crimes accountable. Salt Lake City's public spaces will be safe, clean, and welcoming to all law-abiding people. People experiencing homelessness will be treated with respect and restored to dignity. This plan is roughly 50 pages long with about 500 pages of appendices, and I encourage you and our residents to read it and read all of it. And we will be here to answer your questions as we go. I want to thank our partners who over the last month have been willing to provide their input. And I really want to thank our most incredible team at Salt Lake City who put this plan together. They are the greatest public servants I have ever known. We can achieve the results that we want and need if we continue to work together in collaboration. Thank you for being here today.
Mayor, what makes this different than plans the city's previously submitted?
I'm happy to connect with y'all for questions after you've had time to digest the plan.
We're not taking any questions today, guys. We're sending this out, the plan and the appendices. Look forward to scheduling some follow-ups in the coming days ahead. Take a chance to digest this. It is substantial and significant. Again, hard copies here if you want one. The PDFs will be emailed out shortly.
Is the chief going to issue a statement?
Yes, Chief will issue a statement.
Can I get a hard copy, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll take one.
Sure. I've got 2 left, hot off the presses.
Thanks.
Johnny?
Hey, Andrew. How are you, buddy?
Well, never better.
Well, very good, very good.
Yes, sir.
Please come